has been a long time since I posted on YouTube. It's technically been a month. Oops. But I want to talk about the 5 books I read in May. Now, I mainly read my spiritual books. I have 2 fiction books. 2 fiction books that I've read. One is a lesbian romance and one is a different type of romance, I guess. But first things first, we're going to start with the book that I finished first, Mountain Conjure. This is not the first time I've talked about this book at all. I talk about this book in every single one of my book videos. Now, my favorite reason, I'm looking at my notes because I wrote them down. Now, the main reason why I like this book is because it talks about mastering your own spirit and how you, as yourself, in your own spirit is the most important spirit that you will ever work with, the most important one you will ever get to know. And it talks about how your physical life follows the flow of the spirit, which to me emphasizes just how important spiritual hygiene is, and whether it's, cleansing, banishing, bringing in, love, like whatever you're bringing in. It doesn't have to be this big old extensive routine. It's simply you just paying attention to yourself and knowing when something's off and knowing when something needs to be handled. Okay. What else does it say? Oh, and another reason why I like that this book talked about getting to know your own spirit first is because a lot of people, when they're coming into witchcraft or spirituality or whatever, they think that the only way to practice is through other spirits or through deity work or through, all these other avenues. But a lot of people skip over how they are a bridge. They themselves are a bridge to, the spirit realm because of how, we are made up of our ancestors. Our ancestors are our first connection to the spirit world because their DNA is inside of us. A lot of people just skip over that, and it's really not to your best benefit. Whenever I'm talking to somebody and they like, oh, how did you get to where you are in your practice? What made you so comfortable? Getting to know myself and my own spirit and developing a relationship with myself is what made me so comfortable in my witchcraft practice. Your spirit knows what you need to do and where you need to go. Your job is to be obedient. I know a lot of us don't like that word. I don't like that word either. But when it comes to me and my spirit, yes, I do like to be obedient with the things that it prompts me to do, and the little visions that it sends me, the dreams, however your spirit communicates to you. You're gonna have to figure that out, and you're just gonna have to do the work to navigate what it's sending you to sort through. Now, the next book that I read is called Financial Sorcery by Jason Miller. I just finished, like I said, Financial Sorcery. I think that's like my 4th book that I finished from him. And my favorite thing is that it talks about mundane and magical strategies for money. And a lot of people, when it comes to money work and money magic, they just think that, you can just crack the sky open and make gold fall or something. And then, when you tell them, hey, that's not how this works, they get so mad at you. And it's like, bitch, what you want me to do? If I didn't do that for myself, why the fuck would I do that for you? I digress. But, I just love how it combined magic and the mundane, because first comes the ritual, then comes the work. First you do the candle ritual, the opening, the road opening, the cleansing. For me, I call it a resurrection ritual. First you do the ritual, and then you do the work. Magic takes the path of least resistance. So if you're trying to do money magic, then you need to be giving money an avenue to get to you. Okay? And that's what I really liked. And another thing, my favorite thing, is that it talks about how continuously conjuring emergency money magic. It talked about that. How people, they are just so comfortable with calling in a certain amount of money when they need it, that they don't think beyond that. They just get so comfortable with where they at and where they are. They get so, in the example of the book, they gave an example of, people trying to do money magic to keep the same shitty apartment, to keep the same shitty job, because they're comfortable at that level, right? And that had me thinking. I was like, damn, is that what I'm doing? So I loved seeing that in that book, because it really made me think and look at my life. And I was working in my grimoire, and I started writing like my favorite sentences from the book, and I'm going to write down some other things that are some valuable things that I got, and how I want to keep it with me, and how I plan to implement those. Another thing that I really, really liked is that it has different sections. So it has sections for like entrepreneurial work, for this, for that, for getting a promotion, for doing this. My favorite section was the entrepreneurship section, because I have my own business, and it talked about how to build a successful spiritual business. Now, it didn't give you all these rituals, all these tips, all these tricks. It gave you the real shit. Like, it said that most spiritual businesses, they, close down after 1 to 2 years, maybe 3 at the most, because a lot of us, we don't see the success that we think we're going to see in the first few years, and it's just not enough to sustain ourselves, right? And it talked about that, and it put something in my head. I was like, damn, I didn't even think about that. Like, damn. And it's not that I'm at a point where I'm surviving on just my business, but it's still that's still something that affects me, how a lot of spiritual business close within the first 2 years. I'm only on my 2nd year. And I've definitely thought about giving up. And that it helped put a bug in my ear about, damn, do you want to give up now, or do you want to see where this goes? And I appreciated that. And I appreciated how, my favorite, it had a little section in there, and it was how spiritual businesses, we can't really go about business the same way other people go about business. Like, I do products, I do lotions. People think that I can just go and set up somewhere and then I'll be sold out. And yes, that is, everybody's dream, and they're doing some kind of pop-up or event or whatever. But for spiritual businesses, I'm not going to say that's not realistic, as if that could ever happen, or that, as if that can never happen. Just in case someone's watching this and they think, damn, that's what I want to do. Go do it. And please prove me wrong. If you have a spiritual business and you want to do like a pop-up event, and you want all of your products to sell out at a certain thing, please do it. And please email me and be like, see, I did this. It's possible. It was hard, but it was possible. Please tell me. But anyway, so many people think that I could just pop up somewhere and sell this and that and blah, blah, blah. I'm just like, baby, this is expensive. A lot of people don't care about, $45 lotions or a 1 ounce body oil that's technically like $25. People don't care, because it's not something that a lot of people care about. This is still a very niche thing. And I really appreciated seeing that in the book, because in my real life, people love to just come at me and say, oh, you should do this, this, and this, it'll be so easy, da 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 da. But seeing in a book from a seasoned practitioner who has helped other spiritual practitioners build their business, and being real, like, look, this is what I've seen, this is what happens, what I'm saying, be prepared for this. It was a breath of fresh air, and I low-key might reread that part, just because it was so realistic but also encouraging at the same time. So my last spiritual book that I read was Creative Visualization by Shakti Gawain. And I was reading that book because Basi Bruja had posted something, and she was working with that book in some way. And I was like, damn, okay, I'm gonna read that little book. And I did, and I really, really enjoyed it. It's easy, it's not very long. And when I mean easy, I don't mean it's like, full of fluff and useless. I mean, like, it's easy to understand and digest and apply. If you read this book, please do the techniques and the visualizations and the journal prompts that it's asking you to do, because it will be worth your while. Number one. Number two, they could carry you for long term, and that's always beneficial. But my favorite thing about this book is that it helped me point names to what I was experiencing on my own, so I could explore them deeper. Like, it talks about people's experience of feeling their higher selves, and how how you'll be minding your business, going about your day, and a random thing, you just feel so like aligned, and like you understand everything, and just like you're ready to take on the world. What I'm saying? Like, those random feelings, and it's like, oh shit, everything's making sense. I know exactly what I'm doing. I know exactly where I'm supposed to be. Like everything just makes sense. It feels so aligned. It feels like you can just see as far, whether with your physical eye or with your eye. It feels like whenever I feel like connected to my higher self, I feel like I can just see so far, and everything just makes so much sense, and there's no stress, there's no worries, there's no anxiety, there's no nothing. So that was lovely. So now I'm going to talk about the fiction books that I read this month. And the first one was called The Lost Apothecary by Sarah Pinner. This book is about POV. It follows one woman like the 1800s. She has this apothecary, you know, and she administers poisons for women who want to kill their husbands. Queen. And in the future, it's this woman who is going through like a crisis through her marriage, and she, you know, travels to find herself, and she stumbles upon a bottle, and she's like, I've never seen this before. Maybe this is, you know, maybe this is something. So she goes on explore. She goes to these history libraries and shit to figure out more about the bottle, and it takes a whole journey. It's a dual POV, so it goes from her finding the bottle and figuring out, you know, what that could mean, and it also shows the past of all the events leading up to what, you know, that one bottle. And when I tell you, it was so much better than I thought. I completely skipped over that book for like a year and a half. I was telling my friend like, hey, I'm reading this book, da da da. She was like, oh, I thought about reading that book, but I just couldn't get into it. It was a little boring to me. I was like, yeah, I thought the same thing. And then I finished it like 2 to 3 days later, and I was like, oh shit, this is so much better than what I thought. So anyway, it was better than what I thought because it was really plot and character driven. And for it to be such a short book, I definitely feel like I started to care about the characters and their situation, because it was a high stakes situation technically, because, you know, you're dealing with poisons, and it don't take very long to kill them. It don't. So you know, rush against the clock, which is fun. There were so many twists and turns. I might do like a little longer video with spoilers, talking about my favorite fiction books and witchy books that I've read, and do like a little spoiler video just so I can talk more about them. But I'm gonna keep it short and cute, just in case you didn't read it yet. I loved the twists and turns. I really wasn't, you know, thinking that I knew where the story was gonna go, or, you know, every time I thought it was about to be over, something else happened. And not in an annoying, exhausting way. More like, oh shit, like what the fuck is going on now? So I enjoyed it. I really, really did. I'm gonna make a video so I can do some spoilers, so I can talk about it. Oh, my last book that I read is called The 7-10 Split. I'm gonna put the picture up because I don't remember the author. It's a Black lesbian romance about bowling. These two best friends, you know, they're best friends all through high school. You know, then when it's time to go to college, they split up. One of them comes back into town, you know, it's that vibe. They haven't seen or talked to each other in years. It's distance, but they want to get close. I loved it. And it was black. A Black lesbian romance. I loved it. It was so much fun. It was so short, like 288 pages, so go check it out. I really like bowling in my personal life, and never have I ever read a bowling romance. I've never read a bowling romance, so that was a first for me, and it did what it had to do. I liked the characters. I liked one more than the other, but that's a different video. I enjoyed the reading that I did. I was in a reading slump for all year. I was not reading at all. But now I'm trying to get back to at least reading one book a week. I technically have a reading goal of reading 50 books this year, and I think I'm only on book like 14. So I got some catching up to do, which is why I want to do these videos, because I look forward to doing them and they make me read. But yeah, so thank you if you know, stayed the whole time. If you enjoyed the video, let me know. If you read any of the books that I'm talking about, and if you enjoyed it, let me know. If you have any books that are similar to what I've read and you think I would enjoy it, let me know. I fucking love to read. I love all genres. I just started reading romance, so you ain't gotta recommend all that to me. But I really like horror, thriller, mystery, history, culture, science, occult, lesbians, bitch. I like everything. I like I've never read a sci-fi fantasy. Huh. If you got one of them, slide them over here. I ain't never read one of them. But thank you. Have a good day.